Welcome folks to the chefandthegrape.com. Obviously I'm your host, Chef Christoph, and today a cider tasting, but a very special cider tasting. Wanted to talk to you folks about the work that's happening right now at SeaCider Cider House. These are innovators and pioneers. These are true leaders in the cider industry, at least for Canada, and I would say absolutely in the top echelon for all of North America. So a little bit of back history. The owner of SeaCider comes from a family that's been in the apple business for 3 generations. So since the turn of the 1900s here in BC, which is in BC going back a long way. And she decided that cider was her thing and she was going to pursue her passion. So the family farm, which is in the Okanagan Valley, obviously was still kept in the family, but a couple of other properties were purchased on Vancouver Island. And one of them is, I think actually both of them are just outside of Victoria, but the one I'm thinking of is actually very close to the ferry terminal. So if you're coming across from Vancouver to Victoria, you literally have to drive right past this property. And 10 acres, organic, right now about 1,300 apples on it. And this is actually where they grow the apples for a couple of their very traditional, and most of their ciders are absolutely traditional, but a couple of their very traditional and let's say flagship varietals. So the first one I'm going to talk about, SeaCider Bittersweet, and it is, as the name says, bitter and sweet. Heirloom series, 7% alcohol in the glass, a beautiful pale amber color. Funny enough, looks like apple juice. And on the nose, yeah, it carries a lot of obviously apple tones, but there's almost an aged honey and white floral tone to it as well. Wow, this is English cider at its best. This is absolutely dry. Nice medium plus to full tannin structure, so got a good amount of grip to it. The acid, yes, it's bright, it's brisk, but it's not overly intrusive. This is really enjoyable on its own, but fantastic way to start a meal, fantastic thing to serve with a very rich meal. So if you're thinking, I'm thinking some of that Alsatian food, you know, bratwurst and choucroute. Of course, if that's not your thing, this with fish and chips, divine. Runs about 15 bucks a bottle, and all of these ciders, by the way, are available in Western Canada, so BC, Alberta, I believe in Saskatchewan, but also in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. So you can get this in Washington State, you can get this in Oregon, and if I'm not mistaken, you can even get it in Illinois. So, just because I poured myself too much, we'll move on to what they call the actual flagship. 7.1% alcohol, so slightly less. And see if they say anything. Flagship is a Vancouver Island cider free of added sulfites. So there you go. If you think that sulfites give you headaches, I've got another discussion on that, but here you go. Fermented at cool temperatures with champagne yeast, this German style ultra dry cider, blah blah blah. And in the glass you can tell, I mean, it is a little bit paler. This is the color of pale apple juice, light honey, that sort of thing. On the nose there is actually a little bit more of a floral tone, but not just white flowers, little yellow summer flowers, dandelions. Wow. When they say ultra dry, this is bone dry. I would love to serve this with oilier fishes. Mackerel springs to mind, but salmon with a nice sauce hollandaise or a béarnaise, delightful. And you know, the sauce béarnaise, the little bit of herbaceousness, would love the light floral tones. Well, they both would, to be honest. These are all running about 15 bucks, by the way. Next in the lineup, Bramble Bubbly. This is more to my wife's taste than to mine. Absolutely delightful. I'm just not the big berry guy. When I do like berries in my alcohol, it would be summer sangria or some Beaujolais. If you look at that in the glass, I mean, it looks like pure grape juice. That's what it looks like. And on the nose, just a cacophony of berry tones: raspberries, strawberries, cranberries. That's so good. Like I said, I'm not even a big berry guy, but I think one of the reasons why I love it so much, it's berry cider, but it's dry. It's really dry. It's not as bone dry as the Flagship. It's got obviously a little bit more residual sugar than that, but utterly delightful. So balanced and refreshing. This is something on a hot day. I'm gonna love this. But I've saved my favorite for last. This is iconic. This is known throughout the Pacific Northwest. To those of us who love cider, this is the Rum Runner. Delightful. So this is, if I'm not mistaken, actually aged in rum casks, in screech barrels. If you've never had screech before, screech is a Canadian East Coast delicacy, as it were. It's rum that's made on the East Coast. And it's funny because it carries those apple tones, but now they're caramel apple tones and butterscotch and nougat and aged honey. Still some of that white floral tone, but now it's more of a white tea. Oh. Tastes like more. It's just everything that's carried on the nose is carried on the palate. And I think it's worthy to note that, what is it, the Wine and Spirit Institute? Maybe not. But this is won innumerable gold medals throughout the Pacific Northwest at cider competitions. And one magazine, and I'm sorry, the name eludes me right now, actually called this one of the top 10 things that you should try, sort of thing. It was you know, quite the honor. Out of the list of thousands of products that they tried all year, they came up with 10 that they said, this year, there's 10 you have to try. And this was one of them. So, scores, pretty standard across the board. The Bittersweet is 91 points. The Flagship is 91 points. 91 plus. Bramble Bubbly, easy 91 points. And the Rum Runner, sorry, it's my favorite, I'm probably prejudiced, 92 points. Although, if you take a look at the medals that it's earned, yeah, it's earned them. Also worthy to note, this is 12.5% alcohol. If you think you have a strong constitution, you can probably drink an entire one in an evening. However, I don't recommend two. I've been down that road before. It's a little dangerous. I hope you make the time to try these ciders. They're truly worthy of your time and attention. They are all excellent to stunning value, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as I.